Hi friends, this reflection is for the 22nd Sunday of Ordinary Time. Now we hear about the virtues of humility and charity, and I think some of us seem to forget what are the two meanings of both of those virtues. First of all, charity is when we do things for people with nothing to be returned. Every day there's charity happening, right? People serving those who are in need, giving up their time and treasures to those who are less fortunate. For the homeless, the marginalized, the outcasts, those who are going through hard times. And that's what we need to be doing more. We need to put our faith into action. Whenever everyone is charitable to their neighbors, and of course their enemies, their faith is put into action. Secondly, we hear about humility. Now, humility is probably not the best virtue for maybe 9 out of 10 people in our society today, whether it be from sports, professional, social, the list goes on. But humility in itself is how we are grounded. St. Augustine once said that pride made devils of angels, but humility made angels. One line that kind of jumped out to me from the Gospel for Luke actually reads, "Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because their inability to repay you, for you be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous." Every day Christians perform works of mercy, not in hopes of an earthly reward, but for Christ's sake. St. John Chrysostom tells us, "Let us not then bestow kindness on others under the hope of return, for this is a code motive, and such a friendship soon vanishes. But if you invite the poor, God, who never forgets, will be your debtor. For the humbler our brother is, so much the more does Christ come through him and visit us." I think in a nutshell, the Golden Mouth Saint wants us to understand that it's not for show, but rather it's for us to understand that there are people that are less fortunate than us. Humility also helps us to understand to put others first and ourselves last. St. John Chrysostom just mentioned something about kindness. And I think that's really the root of charity. Kindness and charity go together. In addition, charity and mercy go together. I always think of them as the triple threat, the triplets. But not that kind of threat. So recently, America has mourned the loss of a very great American hero. And he didn't wear armor or carry a gun and, charge up a hill to take out an enemy. But rather, he expressed kindness from a less likely place, the courtroom. Judge Frank Caprio passed away recently. And he became a viral sensation, not to garner views for an impossible stunt. He didn't, give a oration that went live and went viral. Instead, his honor, the late Judge Frank Caprio, became an internet sensation because the way he treated every person that walked into his courtroom. You see, for 3 decades, Judge Frank Caprio, after he was a lawyer, he became a judge. And he expressed kindness to everybody, whether it be someone with a parking ticket that had a story to tell, to someone that wasn't aware of the laws of, Rhode Island or what have you. With both of these things, he expressed kindness to every person that stood before him. Now, when you think of a judge, you would think he's just going to give you a harsh ruling or what have you. That's not always the case. For Judge Caprio, and God rest his soul, he treated every person like it was his own. You see, too, in the Gospel of Luke, Christ wants us to cross these invisible lines. You know, in today's society, you know, there's too much, I hate to say this, but I feel like there's too much hatred that is on display, and probably have to read between the lines. No pun intended, by the way. But what Jesus is calling us to do is to break through these lines, to cross them with charity and humility. We love our neighbors and we love our friends. We love one another. We humble our hearts and understand that God must increase, but we must decrease, as St. John the Baptist would say. So as you navigate the 22nd week of Ordinary Time, think about a way you can give back to the community. Think about an area where you kind of let pride creep in. And ask God for help. And trust me, there is no shame in doing that. There is no shame in asking for help. Because you know something? That is a step towards humility. You'll learn it in time. And sometimes we have to, learn it all over again when we forget about it. And that's okay. I mean, there are some things that I have to learn over again. Such as, what am I supposed to do as a husband, right? What am I supposed to do as a sibling, as an uncle? In time, what do I need to do as a parent? God willing. Think about a work of mercy, friends, that you can fulfill now. There are 14 to choose from. And I'm sure there'll be one that you could pick now. And just don't stick with one. But rather, think about, okay, I did this one. Okay, maybe how could I fulfill this one? Or think about one that maybe you're not strong with. And keep in mind, don't take those works of mercy literally. Okay? You have to think about it a little bit. Okay, I want to visit someone that's in prison. How do I do that? Is it just someone that's behind bars for a crime or something? No. There are probably people that are homebound that haven't walked outside in quite some time because of fear or some kind of an illness. Jesus calls us to be missionary disciples. And one of the ways we can do it is fulfill works of mercy in everything that we do. Whether it be at the office, whether it be at your church, whether it be when you're on the public square. When we do works of mercy, when we do acts of charity, God will reward us, and we are in his debt. And as the book of Sirach reminds us, let us conduct our affairs with humility and charity. Stay humble, friends. God bless.